Welcome back everyone to theCUBE's live coverage here, Dell Technologies World 2026. It's our 17th year covering theCUBE. I'm with Dave Vellante, my co-founder and co-host of theCUBE. CUBE alumni Michael Dell, Chairman and CEO of Dell Technologies. His name is on the box, doesn't even have to sign the machines, but Jensen Huang signed the server on stage. Michael, welcome back, great keynote, phenomenal content. Everything was popping, the product's popping, the market's popping, AI's infrastructure. AI infrastructure, center stage, the server's up there, the rack, the whole time. So this is like a dream scenario if you're in the infrastructure business.
Well, great to be with you guys, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've been seeing over the last few years, tremendous evolution of the capability of the models, and at the core of this is really activating all this data. And we've been talking about data at Dell, at EMC, at Dell EMC, and Dell Technologies for decades, and now all the data is coming to life. And we've got the infrastructure solutions as the leading company in the space to make it all happen. You see the incredible breadth of solutions, bringing it all together at the rack level, all the models, the frontier models, the open models, the specialized models, and it's happening in the client device, it's happening in factories, in retail stores, right, in logistics centers, in hospitals, in laboratories, and of course, big build outs all over the world, and we're making it happen.
Your business is really flying high right now, and again, I love the OpenClaw on stage as an example because every aspect of your business, even the client PCs are now the OpenClaw machines for anyone playing with AI.
I loved Dave, Morin, and it's really an empowering story. And you think about a lot of the origins of what happens in our industry, a lot of it starts with an individual user. It comes up with an idea, and then it migrates it into the enterprise with NemoClaw, and it's secure.
The three of us have seen every era in computing, and you and Larry are really the icons of every era. The only two, you could put Jensen in there, I guess, but frankly, nobody was paying attention to Jensen back in the PC era. And so, in that era, as you well know, everything changed. Competition got very decentralized. Of course, we saw the internet and mobile change things, but now, we're seeing a change in the way work gets done. Jeff talked about the operational model. Not a lot of people talking about that, by the way. That was profound, I think. How do you think about this era? People love to compare it to other eras. This is clearly different, but love your thoughts on that.
I think it is, every bit as significant as the internet, World Wide Web. I wasn't around for electricity, but that feels like...
It was pretty big.
It feels like that was a pretty big deal. It feels like it could be on that order of magnitude. And the important thing is really, how do you reimagine the workflows? I mean, here's a way to think about this. If you had an organization in 2015, you used management practices and tools and structures and techniques that were contemporary at the time. And now in 2026, we have something completely different. And if you're stuck in the ways of doing things from 5 or 10 years ago, that's just not going to work very well. And it's when you reimagine the workflows to get to the same outcomes that you want to achieve, and you can actually do quite a bit more now, with this technology, organizing all the data, applying the models, and again, it's humans plus the digital workers. And the digital workers, of course, can work thousands of times faster. We can have millions of those, and it just enables all of us to do a whole lot more.
We've known each other for a while, as Dave mentioned. One of the things I point out, you're very hands-on. CEO, obviously entrepreneur, founded in the dorm room, and love some of the memorabilia you put on the web. original term sheet and all the
Love those.
early Dell stuff.
Yeah.
But two things I want to ask you. One,
I got drawers and drawers full of it.
Get that Dell factory coming up, the memorabilia factory. David Moore really hit home with me because he made a point about the personal side of the impact of
Right.
OpenClaw, and he made a reference to the Dell PC that enabled him to start his business in his dorm room. So that's happening in organizations. The C-suites right now are dealing with, transformation may be an overused word, but true business change. You just mentioned it. As a hands-on executive, I know from talking to your staff and your employees, you're very hands-on. How should leaders think about this new cultural business management or organization? Because you're going to have digital workers. What's your view on this? You're hands-on, you're doing it. Obviously, it's working. How should people think? The role of the CFO, the role of the Chief Human Resource Officer, CIO, Super CIO, they have Super CIO. So how do you look at that, and what's your experience, and what prescription would you give?
You know, what I tell a number of them when they ask me a question like this is that this is a moment of courage and leadership. And I think that is a big differentiator in the sense that we all have the same tools and technology available to us, but you have to be willing to really change things in a dramatic way. And not everybody wants to do it, I get it, it's hard, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, maybe it's awkward, but I kind of believe deep in my bones that if you don't do it, you might not be in business in a few years. And that's what the approach we've taken inside our company, and it is working. We're seeing more and more companies, certainly at the leadership level, figure out that, wow, this is something very, very different. If we don't do this, if we don't adopt this, we're going to have a big problem because of either our competitors or new entrants. And I think we're at that moment.
What's the difference between doing it, saying it, and doing it, in your opinion?
I think it is really doing the hard work to understand what the process could look like, to reimagine it, to be willing to break stuff and delete stuff that you built from the past, and reassemble your capability around this new technology. I mean, just one simple data point. So Stripe, the payments company, payments platform company, they would tell you that the companies born in 2025 grew 4 times faster than the ones in 2018. Why is that? Well, they had 2025 technology. That's an extraordinary change, 4 times, right, in not too many years. So if you're stuck in 2018 mindset and technology, you've got yourself a big problem.
So I could see some leaders listening to that advice, Michael, and because you actually apply the technology yourself, we were talking off camera, I could see some leaders saying, yeah, but this guy built PCs in his dorm room. I mean, he's a techie, he knows this stuff. So what would you say to the leaders that aren't necessarily as comfortable with technology? They certainly invest in technology, but what should they do? Should they get a smart guy or a gal that's a sidecar and help them get up to speed? What would you advise them to really get hands-on?
I think you just have to throw yourself into it and surround yourself with people that are immersed in this. And I'm going to go back a little bit to the World Wide Web, right? And at that time, there were a lot of folks, let's say in senior management, that didn't really quite get the whole thing. And so what did we have to do? We had to go and create it off to the side, then integrate it back in. I don't actually think we have time to do that. So I think leaders have to go find people in their organizations. There are people, if you've got a company of any size, I guarantee you there are people that understand this and want to go do it. You've got to go find them. Jeff was talking about the super users,
yep,
right? And ask them to help you reimagine how the most important processes in your company could work in the future. Don't just pick some small thing that is interesting. Go for the big ones.
The
really,
pilot strategy changes. the POCs change.
I think there's an instinct sometimes to like, let's just go do AI, very quickly. To really have the impact, you've got to go after the giant processes that affect the most number of people, the most amount of data, and can really drive competitive advantage and speed for a company.
That's great advice. I want to ask about Jensen and your moment on stage. Obviously, you guys are both operating massive, scalable companies that are operating at scale. Different swim lanes, obviously he's got the GPUs and the systems, but you've got the product market fit. Both have good products. What's it like operating at scale, and what are some of the conversations you have with Jensen? You say, hey, how's it going? What is going on? What do you talk about backstage with Jensen? Because you're both operating at scale and driving this AI factory revolution that's just getting started. The edge is going to come soon. Jensen hinted at that last time I talked to him. What's it like? What kind of conversations do you have?
Well, it's not just backstage. I mean, we're doing it 24/7, constantly. Certainly myself and Jensen, but at all levels of both companies, we're tightly, bound together here in rolling out this capability at scale across all sorts of different customers, whether it's the neo clouds, the sovereign AI, the enterprise AI, we're working in the supply chain, working, all the sort of details to make this happen. And the opportunities are extraordinary, and I think it goes back to this shift to intelligence and helping people think and machines that think. It's just a paradigm shift in computing, and it's leading to exponential and parabolic improvements in what companies can do and can become.
And the change you guys are affecting, and it's almost a moment of, hey, can you believe this is actually happening? Look at the bio success on biology, some of the breakthroughs that are going on, and these are like life-extending breakthroughs, like serious, big scale things.
Absolutely, and now, with the 5,000 enterprise customers, with the Dell AI Factory, it's happening at scale. It's not a demo or a proof of concept anymore. It's really inflecting.
Michael, with your resources, you could do a lot of things. You made what could arguably be the greatest acquisition in the history of enterprise tech. I really can't think of a more impactful one. Maybe Mellanox someday will prove to be up there. Obviously VMware originally. You could do it again, you could go big or go home, buy more companies, but you and your wife, Susan, have decided that philanthropy is, at this stage of your career, exceedingly important. What you've done with the Trump accounts, congratulations on that, quite amazing. I wonder if you could talk about that and share with the audience your mindset as to how you decide to where you want to put your resources and your time.
We do believe that the most important investment that any country can make is in its people, particularly its children. And so we made this decision to give a kind of starter investment account to 25 million American children, ages 2 to 10, who live in zip codes where the median income is $150,000 or less. And the reason we did that is we know that when a child has an account like that, even a relatively small account, but it'll compound over time, become something a lot bigger, they're way more likely to graduate from high school and go on to higher studies, become a productive member of their community, start a family, buy a home, start a business, not be incarcerated, leads to better mental health for the child and the parent. And look, there are maybe 40% of American families that don't have any assets invested in the stock market, so they're not benefiting from all the incredible innovations that are occurring, and they have no reason to learn about capital or capitalism. Well, now they do, right? And in not that much time, we're going to have 70 million children with the government contributing to these accounts, companies adding to the accounts, even states adding to the accounts, cities, philanthropists, and I think that will be something that will be incredibly important, certainly over the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Congratulations on that.
That's a great vision, congratulations as well. Pivoting off that, you always talked in the past on theCUBE about the $1 trillion productivity, you had a number quote, I don't remember the exact number, but if you look at AI and the productivity that's going to bring, so you got the accounts going, that's a nice seed, the future leaders, but now short term, you look at the productivity gains, any thoughts on the scope of how much productivity is going to impact? Is it the size of the GDP? Do you think about that from that perspective? You start to see the productivity gains. I mean, people are doing more with less than ever before.
Yeah, it's good top-down math, $115 trillion economy, take 10% of that, maybe we're not spending enough on AI,
Is that coming up a lot? Are you thinking about this?
I think you can still make that argument that while there's a lot being invested, given the size of the economy and the productivity gains that we know are possible, maybe there's not enough investment. And again, we know a lot more now than we did 2 or 3 years ago, and what we know is that people can become way more productive. I mean, there's definitely a productivity boom that's going on in certain companies. It's happening in our company, we know other companies where it's happening, and everybody is going to want that. And that should lead to an economic boom across the country and across the world.
Final question for you is, what's changed the most this past year for you, besides the AI Factory sales numbers, which are phenomenal? What's the biggest change for you personally and Dell Technologies, if you had to answer that?
It's this shift towards agents and workflows and sort of the exponential and parabolic improvement in software development and so many other areas. And it's been a lot of fun. We're having a great time reimagining everything we do, and we can do so many more things so much more quickly and have a greater impact. And what's more exciting than that?
I know you're taking me to OpenClaw, so I'll ask one more question. What's the coolest thing that's happened, or weirdest thing that's happened with your experimentation with OpenClaw? Did it discover anything? Did it go wild? When you first used OpenClaw, did you have a Dameron moment? What was your experience? Share a moment where it's like, wow, that's real.
I'm probably a little more security conscious than the average bear out there when it comes to using these tools. But look, I mean, every time, I think you also have to be struck by, it seems like every week or two, there's like an advancement in the models. And this one's ahead, now this one's ahead, now this one's ahead. And it keeps progressing, and so I continue to be blown away at just the insights you're able to get and how easy it is to be curious and to learn and to explore. And when you think about that applied to over 8 billion people, their creative ideas, their imagination, translated into results and execution faster than ever, what an incredible time to be alive. Whether it's in drug discovery or starting a business in your dorm room, I mean, we've got just incredible tools and capabilities now.
Michael Dell, thanks for coming on theCUBE, really appreciate it. Great to see you again, and congratulations on the great show and continued success. Thanks for coming on, appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Michael Dell here inside. I'm John Furrier with Dave Vellante. Bring on day 2 coverage, going straight without a break for 10 interviews, more coming. So much action happening here at Dell Technologies World. Thanks for watching.